Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Warrior Way. I went to the park today. Not that it's like much different from many other days when it's at least warm out. I really go to the park pretty often. I go to the parks. I go to places where there's water. I try to go to places where there's water, at least like some kind of body of water. It's very relaxing. I haven't been to the beach in a little bit, but anyway, I went to a park today, and sometimes when I go, I sing and I dance. I used to do it quite often. Nowadays, I really sit and meditate. I sit and listen to podcasts and some different things on YouTube. And sometimes I just sit and look at the water and look at nature. I listen to music, but I don't always sing out loud as much anymore. I do still do it sometimes. And dancing is sporadic, more so I do it when it's a quieter spot. That's really how I do it now. And today it kind of was quiet. There was really a couple that was sitting not so far from me, but they didn't seem to mind. And I wasn't really singing so loud. Like I was singing like normal, regular volume. I don't know. For me, regular volume is pretty loud, I guess. But I was just enjoying that moment, and people were walking by. I was saying hello, and it was funny because there was an elderly couple that walked by me, and they spent an extra couple seconds, like kept on looking at me as they were walking. They kept on looking and looking like up and down. And I just, in those moments, you're like, okay, I'm different. I'm very different. I'm not the same as everybody else. And I feel different. It's when you're walking around feeling God's energy throughout your day, you're in a different place than most humans. If you're feeling that energy, if you're feeling that, please comment that you're there with me in that place, that wherever you are in the world, you are feeling God's energy and you're feeling like you're in a different reality, and you are. I know I am. Completely different reality. My reality changes. But we know, if you're watching any of these types of videos, and you hear from others who have been through the journey, or so it seems, that the external world takes it will eventually come around to your internal world. So in other words, once your internal world starts to change, your external world will change afterwards, and it's forced to. There's no other way around it. Once your internal world changes, your external world will change, and slowly but surely my external world has started to change. I talk about synchronicities. I've mentioned about synchronicities, and what starts to happen is it's God is every second. So there's no such thing as really, if you really want to analyze it, there's synchronicities are just like hints that that God's like, or the angels or guides are guiding you. But in reality, every single second is being guided. Every single moment is not is not a mistake. So it's all perfect. So if it's all perfect, there's nothing you can do to change it. Then every single thing is a sign. But when you get those cute little signs, that whether it's a bird flying by, whether it's 777, whether it's 333, 1111, 1212, whether it's a butterfly coming by, whatever it is that your synchronicity, and you just say thank you, and let it go, and then you're on to the next moment, and you smile inside or you smile externally too, and you start to know that it's all happening, it's all coming. I don't have the answers. People ask questions like, how do you, but but what about this? What about that? That's really like, what about the future? What about what's going to happen? And that's what people want to know. Like, so you don't become a fortune teller. Like, you can't know the future in terms of like how it's going to come about. You just know that it will be positive, that it will turn out beautiful for you, because you're the God inside who's creating it. So therefore, you're creating this positive vibe, is creating this positive energy, and also you're co-creating with God of the entire universe, which is the oneness of it all. That God who's taking care of you really also is wanting the best for you. And if you have a hard time with understanding the God concept, it's just the reality works in this positive flow, that this existence is happening in a sense because we all wanted to experience the beauty of all of this. And the only way to experience the beauty is to go through everything we've gone through up until the certain point where you begin to wake up. And then when you wake up, you still go through a lot of things, but when you're waking up, as you're going through this waking up journey and you're awakening, your soul is awakening and you're rising up, it less and less stress. You still have it. You'll still notice. Like, if I go to my bank account, I'm still going to notice like the money could go down and down and down and down. Of course, you notice that, and that's what could bring people back into the chase again and back into the hustle. And then what happens is if you could just come back and take a breath, come back to whatever you're doing right now. You're watching this video, so just be here in this video. Don't go into your bank accounts. Don't go checking things. Don't go checking your social media. Don't answer texts. Just be in this present moment with this video. Allow yourself to be completely in it, and nothing is happening other than this. And it starts to be a beautiful thing. You're aligning with God's time. God's time is the exact time. There is no way around it. But your job is to align your feelings towards his timing so you're not rushing. Whenever you're feeling this urge to have to do something, pause, breathe. I mentioned this in the other video about quick fix, that don't be so quick to make that move. I now take an extra second, more time, one more second, one more breath. If sometimes I want to turn off something that is positive that I'm listening to, I'll go one more second. And you start incorporating more positive things into your life. So you start maybe incorporating prayer. Prayer came for me. So prayer was an interesting one for me. Prayer came about for me. I used to pray back when I was religious back in the day, but it was always like I never felt the prayers. Then during my spiritual journey this go around, meditation to me, the first meditation itself was the prayer. Like I wasn't really saying words. Ram Dass wrote up saying Ram, like the name of God, Ram. So I would do that, Ram, 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 and I would say that and do that, and then sing the song that he was singing, Ram, uh, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. That's from Krishna Das, and I was singing that, but it didn't really resonate with me. And then I, I really got into. I mean, I watched these videos, and all of a sudden it was videos saying over mantras, saying over prayers, and I was repeating the prayers or the mantras that the videos were saying. Eventually, I created some of my own mantras, um, and some of my own ways of saying things that work for me. And I think that each person, I think that ultimately prayer and mantras, you can use other people's that resonate with you, but ultimately you want to use something that you resonate with, even if it's not those things, to come up with your own. Whether it's you could say "Be here now," you could say "God is with me," "God is here," and repeat "God is here." It's so clear. God is here. It's so clear. God is here. God is within. I say, it's a God is within. God is within you, so you can say whatever it is that works for you, and to repeat those things. And then the prayer, whatever prayers, you can actually write your own prayers. You can say your own prayers daily. I like to have it written down. I have like in my notes on my phone, I have a lot of prayers that are written down that I can go through, and I'll read through all my prayers, whether it's the morning when I wake up. Sometimes it's funny, that wasn't part of my initial routine. So that's something that hasn't yet stuck to me in the morning. It's something that I'm now implementing in my morning routines. But it's not something that if I miss it, I'll do it later in the day. I mean, or sometimes I do it anyway later in the day if I feel like I want to pray again. And there's no limitations to any of this stuff. It's kind of like what I mentioned in my other videos. When you start to have a routine of like meditating or reading or dancing or singing, you might do it at a certain time when you first start off day after day. And you should, I think personally, it works. You should. There's no should anything. If it works for you, then do that every day at a certain time, especially if you do it in the morning. It's very good because it establishes that you start off the day in this positive space. And then later on, what happens is you can do it throughout your day. And ultimately, you might miss some mornings. Like if you're taking a flight early in the morning, for example, you might not be able to get in all this stuff, and you might go racing to the airport. So okay, so you could do this stuff at the airport, or you could do this stuff when you get to your location, or you might have to, take your kids in the morning to school, and you might have woken up late, so then take your kids to school, and you could do it in the car, or you could when you leave the car, or you can do it when you get back home, or you could do it when you get to work before you start your workday. I just think it's important to establish those routines, like we mentioned, to ultimately get off the routines, and then you add some of this stuff in. And I think that it allows you to stay aligned with God's timing and not to rush when you have these things that like, okay, I'm doing these things, and I can come back to them. And mantras are the reason why mantras are so good is because I think for myself is that when I lose it out there, wherever it is in the world or in here, and I lose that moment of presence and I feel a certain way, I could come back to, God is here. It's so clear. That could be one that say I don't think I've actually used that one, but it's a good one. God is here. It's so clear. God is here. It's so clear. And then you can keep on repeating it. It's all here in the moment. It's all here in the moment, here and now, here and now. And you could keep on repeating those things. and it brings you back very much into this present moment, as it was 10:10 on the timer. And it's just a beautiful thing, ultimately, just to be at this place where you recognize that it's all God, it's all exactly the way it's supposed to be, and you can live in the mystery. You really could live in the mystery, and you start observing it all, and you start to realize it's okay that you can't go out there into the world and start necessarily trying to tell everybody this information. You could do it on here because, here's the place where people are going to find you that are aligned with what you're talking about and want to get to that place. They want to be able to, and some of us that are listening to this, you're probably in the same space as me, because I was having a hard time finding people that were not fully there yet, but kind of like in this hallway, this corridor that I'm talking about, that I've been mentioning. And here I am, because I want to help those people that are literally on their path or starting off their path or getting closer and wanting to know how to get here. And with that, I'm going to end because I got this noise in the background that's telling me it's time for me to end. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening.